Here's the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquel, and I will lose to you at video games for $200 on 1 day's notice.
I'm John Gilardi, and I'll fight for the highest bidder. I will betray my friends, no problem.
It's true.
Both money tied.
We're money boys over here. Hey, look at us.
So we watched Moneyball.
Yeah, we watched Moneyball. Sabermetrics is a crazy thing. I always thought it was really cool. They called it Sabermetrics.
And Brad Pitt's cool.
And
guy.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Underrated. Bennett Miller, director of that movie, also underrated. Look at that.
So we're not talking about Moneyball.
Today we're going to be talking about the remake of the decade. Another entry in the long line of video game movies. Another successful video game movie? We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Another fighting game movie that has a wealth of story to pull from. And it's definitely not an elaborate way to justify why all these people are fighting each other. It's a movie about a tournament that we never get to. A movie that feels like one long cutscene that you cannot skip and you cannot play with muted colors that don't do the original justice. You can see where I feel. We're talking about Mortal Kombat!
If Christian's here, he'd probably be filling in with the Dora. Yeah, so Mortal Kombat, the new movie.
The new movie, 2021.
That's what it should be called, Mortal Kombat, the movie.
The new
movie.
The new movie. They're just like, fuck. They keep tagging on titles.
Yeah.
The movie. Oh, the new movie. The new 2021 movie.
X. Just throw an X in there. I think Mortal Kombat 10 was Mortal Kombat X, the video game.
Yeah.
So what's your experience with the video game?
I mean, my experience with the video game was playing it. I mean, that was like one of the few video games that I played with like other people, and I was not as bad because I learned the low kick uppercut, low kick uppercut, low kick uppercut. That's all I did. I was very again not talented. I just figured out that one combination that other people figured out. I am not unique in this. I understand that. But nonetheless, I did what I did. And I also loved Scorpion in the original movie a whole lot. I think I've talked about in the past how I dressed up as Scorpion for a Halloween.
He's a cool looking dude.
Yeah. He was in the original movie.
Yeah, well, I guess my
What's your experience with Mortal Kombat? With Mortal Kombat!
I think I had played it at arcades, at movie theaters, way back when that was like a thing.
Yeah.
That seems weird. I mean, there are movie theaters that have them.
Not
still.
anymore. They're gone. I went to the movies
Completely.
for the first time.
Wow.
Yesterday, actually, for Mother's Day.
Wow.
And I was like, we were there super early, and I was like, I'm gonna play some fucking video games while I'm here, while I'm waiting.
Oh yeah, like the modern ones have them ringed around the inside, the exit and entries.
But there's none there because of COVID. Like
makes sense.
They're joint touch places.
That's Well, even then, so modern day, you have the arcade. You kind of have them the entry exits, kind of a throwaway. But back in the day,
oh man,
you had full blown arcades and movie theaters, and so I
there's a whole separate room. Dude.
Yeah, and I touched around. If I played around, I probably touched the game.
I touched around,
but I didn't play Mortal Kombat until fast forward to like 2012, 13, 14, and I played Mortal Kombat X or 10 and 11.
Yeah,
played the entirety of the games for recording for music videos for JT Music. And they're fun. I played the whole campaign.
Wow.
Each, and they're fun games to play. I played Injustice 2, which isn't. Does Injustice pull in Mortal Kombat characters, or
they
is that,
fight? Or is that
another?
In sort of preparation for this, I watched some, like every Mortal Kombat game ever, and there's one where they fight either DC or Marvel heroes.
Yeah, there's
It
a
might be-
crossover. I'm blanking on who the crossover is. Either way,
I think it's DC actually, because I
it's
think
definitely DC.
yeah, it's
is
DC,
Injustice.
and
Gods Among Us.
technically also, like Freddy Krueger, and they have like sort of like a Dead by Daylight thing too, where they have like people like
Jeez.
Freddy Krueger and Jason and
All them boys,
all them sweet friends. There's a xenomorph in there.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I played the story games and they were fun. And what you learn is how contrived every fight is.
Yeah.
And the campaign and the story and how many there's so many betrayals and there's like fighting clones. Like the whole point of the game's story is to of the video game story is to put these scenarios where you have these matchups.
where you have to fight everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying, 'cause
They want you to hit every character at least once. That means you're fighting.
You're fighting your own clone at some point.
Yeah, or you're
you know?
betraying or whatever. And I think that's what this game's biggest strength is, because you know what's going to happen, but I think it does it okay. It does it very tongue-in-cheek too. There's even the point where Cole's being the leader telling people where to go is like, wait, where do you get the swagger from? Because
Yeah.
that was a little weird, but like that made sense. Like, okay, let's go out there, let's go take out these guys, like do matchups.
Yeah.
It's so direct.
We'll take them on one by one, and we'll take them before the tournament.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, guys.
I liked it because it was so direct. Instead of, it was contrived in nature, but it wasn't like they were trying to like
Yeah.
wiggle around or whatever, which I appreciated. And that's coming from my experience with playing the game, because that's it's like I don't like that. It's annoying. The contrivedness is stupid, but I also there's a weird guilty pleasure of how stupid it is
Yeah.
that I get. But to see it in a movie done better was nice.
I think they could have gone into it more. Like that's I feel like, you know, I kind of like I want to see more of it. I feel like that's like sort of my catchphrase, but it's like I like this opening fight scene, you know, we've got it on the background. This opening fight scene between Pre-Scorpion and Sub-Zero is really cool. But I feel like we could have had more of like this type of stuff. I don't feel like they had like the fight choreo that was like,
Yeah. Well, the rest of the fights they're part of like a huge sequence. So there's like multiple fights going on at the same time. So you're just getting tastes here and there.
yeah.
And so you don't get that full one-on-one besides this prequel or prologue sequence and then the final fight, which honestly was kind of boring.
Yeah.
And the setting wasn't cool.
The setting didn't feel
No pun
like,
intended.
It felt like, because it was so similar to the earlier warehouse.
It was the warehouse. I think
Was it the same warehouse?
because they were fighting in an octagon.
Yeah.
A cage.
Well, it just felt
Right.
like really redundant. And
Well, then maybe that's a tongue-in-cheek of the game is like, oh, we're in the same place, but it's reskinned
yeah.
or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It just felt really the final. It felt like it was the pre-boss fight, you know, and then
Yeah.
it turned out to be the final boss fight. Yeah. I mean, I remember the thing that you're talking about most specifically. Whenever they're in the desert and Sonya Blade is like, you don't fucking deserve to have that mark to be a champion of Earth, and Kano's like, well, fucking take it from me right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe I will.
And then they have their fight.
And then they have their fight, but it's also like really kind of anticlimactic.
It's really quick.
It's really quick.
And then doesn't he get the knife and like he's like, ow, why would you do that?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I started to try and watch the original one, but I got bored. I was like, all right, I've had enough Mortal Kombat in the past couple weeks.
That's not a good combo.
But I remember my recollection, and also because I wanted to kind of like speak on my recollection of it, where it's like the movie was stupid, not because it was bad, but it was also good, like the original 1995 version, because it was just like, all right, here we are, we're going from this fight to this fight, and they're like kind of all single fights,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it obviously didn't have the cool fatalities and special effects and stuff, but it was very simple movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed the original.
I don't know if I really enjoyed it, but like I remember it fondly.
It stuck out enough to me. I think that's part of the thing is like I
Yeah,
remember
I
it
think
because it was like
It owned its tone. Like this movie isn't without tone, and it sticks to itself, obviously. But it I don't know. Maybe it doesn't go far enough. I can't.
Yeah.
Because it gets weird, because this movie does have a tone, it sticks to it, but at the same time, it could go further. And
Yeah.
and maybe it's like, because I want more. I don't know. I didn't particularly enjoy the film. I didn't hate it.
It just felt really boring. I like, just to be honest, like it was like there was fun parts.
Well, just like they're building, what are they building up to? And obviously they're saving the tournament or whatever for films, because if this is successful, they have three lined up.
Do they?
Yes, that's something the directors or producers said. I'm very 99% sure in reading that from reputable sources.
Huh.
That's a thing, and that's clearly the case here. You know, there's so much that they're hanging on to in the event that they have to make a new one, or that they make subsequent
When
ones.
they get to make a next movie.
And there's a lot of characters left, you know, and guys at Shao Kahn and his daughter. He has other daughters.
Yeah.
There's Johnny Cage still.
Johnny Cage still isn't there.
There's a bunch of characters. Like, they're holding off, and they even teased Johnny Cage at the end of the movie. Like they're CUing it, cinematic universing it. So that's kind of also frustrating. Is that I don't know, like any movie that started a cinematic universe, in most cases, was a great standalone movie.
Yeah.
Like Pirates 1, Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean Batman,
Batman Begins, like
the Dark Knight one, like obviously it's not part, but it like established the tone as standalone. And then heck, even just the Superman, the first Zack Snyder Superman.
Yeah.
So
well, that's one of the things.
So this movie is claiming to be a standalone, but they're planning for more. So they didn't this isn't a movie you look back and you'll watch start to beginning.
It definitely
the way you did with Pirates, you know.
Yeah.
Or even Iron Man 1 is a treat of a movie, because you can just watch it.
Yeah.
And not feel like you need to keep watching, or you're missing out on
this
stuff.
feels like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Where it's like a bridge between getting to a bigger movie.
Yeah.
And like it feels like, especially because I don't know, man. Nothing against Cole Young.
Yeah.
But I feel like by having him be like a new character, like a new person, instead of, because what I was excited for and what I thought it was gonna be was like that this was like low key Scorpions.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna manifest into Scorpion.
I thought he was gonna turn into Scorpion. I was about to be like, I was gonna be fucking fired.
That would have
up.
been cool. Yeah, exactly. Like
I would have been so fired up if he came out in like bright yellow and like opened out his palm and had like the fucking like chain and stuff out of his palm.
But instead, his Arcana is he has a torso armor.
Yeah.
And weapon, like those weird staff. Police.
Oh yeah, he's
police hitting weapons.
Oh yeah, they're called, but they're like also sharp.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
He's just not stylized enough.
And he's also like stylized
like
too much, and it's like
and they set it up for something cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know.
Like having him be Scorpion would have been so fucking cool. And you can still,
and a new take on Scorpion. Like,
then,
you know, you have Batman when there's 100 million different versions of him, because the story, as long as you have the center of pillars, you could tell the story of Batman. Let this be a different Mortal Kombat where Scorpion is just he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a split personality thing going on. I don't know.
Is it? Well, and then let me pose that to you. Here's my little trilogy of it. I'm going off the cuff here.
Right.
First movie, he becomes Scorpion. He defeats Sub-Zero. Hell yeah, dope as fuck. Scorpion. Then the next movie is bad Scorpion. Like his Hanzo has been tortured and twisted in hell to become bad Scorpion, so he takes over the Sub-Zero like mini boss role.
Yeah.
And they spend that movie fighting him, trying to get away from him or something like that, because he's coming after him because he's like, hey, you fucking killed the person I was supposed to kill, and I'm so blinded by rage or whatever. But, you know, bloodlines or whatever. Anyway, and so then in the third movie, Scorpion's on their side. Maybe Sub-Zero's on their side too, and they're going after
flip-flop
Shao
all day.
Kahn.
Yeah.
And like it's like a big fucking battle, and you know, I don't know. He's used their blood to create clones of them, so they have to fight themselves. just something that's like, okay, hell, like
This
hell.
is probably
yeah.
what the pitch meeting is like for the video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like
He's got their blood. He's got blood magic, so he like flips them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I like the idea when Scorpion says, "Take care of my bloodline," and I love the idea of somewhere later in the trilogy, the like Scorpion with whatever his belief is or something, he has to stop Cole.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of like weird, like kind of holding back, like he doesn't want to do harm to his bloodline. He can't harm his kin, but like whatever the story beat is or the struggle, there's something interesting that could be there. Ultimately, I think he could kill him because he has a daughter, so the daughter can hopefully continue the bloodline as he is concerned.
That'd be something cool too. For like each movie, we jumped ahead 10 years or something like that. That way you could completely recast people, and like you could have like Cole become a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's so weird because for a movie about fighting, I felt like the fights were reasonably like boring, where it was just like this, and not even boring of like the choreography or anything like that, but it wasn't to the point of like something like Tony Jaa where he's doing a one take where he's fighting up the stairs and we've got to do this crazy choreography, or we're fighting down a hallway or fighting a bunch of different people. You know, It was just kind of like punch. Oh, we're doing, and it's like complicated. I can't do it. But it's also, if it's not going to be complicated over the top choreo where we're like doing like crazy one shot stuff, it wasn't shot fun.
Yeah.
You know, this is something, and you know, I feel like I've bashed Zack Snyder a bunch, but this movie could use some fucking Zack Snyder melodrama and like slow motion stuff.
That'd be cool.
I remember I was watching this movie, I was like, man, I wish Zack Snyder did this. Like, again, as someone who I don't like but like this has the same quality as like 300, where it's like over the top bravado. We need those speeches. We need those like over the top fucking slow motion. Like, I gotta show you the narrative weight of this one punch. You know, Zack Snyder is so good at that. It annoys me in other movies, but in this movie and in 300, it fucking works.
Yeah.
And this is like an off-brand. This is like
at some points it felt like a high-budget TV show.
Yeah,
particularly like
some of the stuff was like really cool,
but also that campiness I actually did like.
I did like that too
because it calls you back to that like kind of practical whatever special effects from the first movie.
Yeah,
it does have a weird look to it. The feel like the lighting or I don't know. I'm picking up on something there. That I definitely felt subconsciously that maybe it doesn't have enough style, I guess, in its filmmaking style and what you see on the screen or how you see it, the colors, I guess it's devoid of style, which is interesting. The opening is cool in the kind of 1600s Japan, like that's neat. Yeah, that's good. It doesn't need to be stylized, but.
Well, I think that's the most stylized it gets.
Yeah, or maybe we get like the real life, everyday life. Cool, keep that monotonous, but then make the other shit cool and crazy. And you see some of the other realm or whatever with the guy on his crown. I mean his throne.
Yeah.
But that just looks like generic like Marvel bad guy. I don't like.
Yeah, well, and there's
it's just like I've seen that a million times already.
Well, and then there's one part where they're like walking the road and there's people and it's like, wait, why is he like all dirty and like walking the road?
Who?
The bad guy, is it Shao Kahn?
No, Shao Kahn is like the big guy with the horn mask with the skeleton face.
He's later, big guy.
Probably. I don't know much about this lore.
I think I was watching stuff about the lore and I just his name stuck in me. But that's that's one of the things that like bothers me is just again I cannot stand the like look of Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Really?
I cannot stand it.
Why not?
Because those like oversized masks I do not like. But also like, what was the one of the cool things to me that stuck out was like the bright colors of Scorpion like bright gold yellow.
The lighting was cool around them.
I'm not saying the lighting. I'm saying their actual look
wasn't cool.
Well, in this movie,
yeah,
and then they're just they've got again to the Zack Snyder effect where it's like it's turned down so low, the darkness is so low where it's like I can hardly tell that it's blue. Like I can hardly tell that Sub-Zero is blue.
I can see that.
And it's like I want to know that he's blue and stuff. And I feel like when we got to some of the cool places, it was just like when they were in the training place, it was like, hey, look, it's sandstone and there's sand and stuff. And look at they got hallways. And then we go to this other place, the sky is like kind of overcast and the buildings are black. Look at that. We never had a sense of place.
Yeah. Yeah. And was that temple on the Earth realm?
I think so. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We never got. I think
the character establishment wasn't great when we get to that temple.
Yeah.
So like Radon. Why am I blanking on his name?
Raiden.
He you get enough of his sense by just the godliness of him. Like
yeah.
And Jax and Sonya, and even Kano are good, all good enough, and Cole gets enough, and then Sub-Zero gets enough too. We're all good, but the the
other people.
Oh my god.
Numlock or whatever, not Numlike, not the guy with the
hammer,
the hammer guy. With
those bad guys. Cabal randomly gets a lot of screen time. Like I think he gets a good establishment too as like a bad guy. Like he gets established well enough. But the two cousins, I'm blanking on their name.
I have no idea.
The one that does the drop kick or the sliding kick that they actually.
Kung Lao and and the hero of the previous movies and all the shows.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Kung Lao. It's not Tony Jaa, that's the actor. Oh my god, what's his name?
Either way.
Liu Kang.
Yeah, Liu Kang.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're not established well.
Like look how boring this fight is. This fight is so boring. It's Jax versus him, and it's like he's not even. I don't know.
Jax versus Sub-Zero.
Jax versus Sub-Zero.
Versus him.
Oh man. We're tired.
Yeah, I do like the origin of the arms with Jax, nice and brutal.
Yeah.
And what I really like about this film that it does compared to the old one is that it does do a focus on the fatalities thing.
Yeah.
Which is great. There's even I wish they went further with it, like the screeching girl. I don't know what her name is.
Katana?
No. But like when she gets split in half, that was sick. Like that's the fatality I want to see.
Yeah.
And Jackson his arms ripped off, that's good. That's like, and then but like Melina getting just shot a hole in her was a little left to be desired.
Yeah.
Cabal just electrocuted or getting burnt in a tar pit or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, cool.
Yeah, it's not a great spectacle. Like I want to see like dismantling and mutilation. Like that's what you come to expect from these games, from these movies, from the games.
And that's too is like I feel like they did a good job with like referencing when they did it, but also like that's fatality or whatever. Like I liked those little things. It's very easily could be like over the top, or like I guess cringy would be the word. But it was like I liked it. It
never took me out.
I was like nice. Maybe it's because I was so like nonplussed by everything else. I was like, oh, finally they show a little life.
Yeah.
It's like they definitely were like in those moments they were like, I got a clever thing here.
Maybe that's what it is that the characters are kind of honestly pretty boring.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Liu Kang and his cousin
Kung
Lao, pretty vanilla dudes. Sonya Blade and Jax, pretty generic military special forces character archetypes.
Yeah.
Cole Young, super generic main guy.
Yeah.
Like they're all boring, and Kano is actually like the shining light of some personality.
Yeah. Like that's like
but that's it. There's nothing else. There's no personality. There's no one carrying it, and you got Johnny Cage next film, hopefully.
Well, and that's sort of the thing. Like it feels like they were like, hey, look how they look cool, that's their character.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, in a video game, that's what I get. That's all I need. It's like, oh, this person's got purple arm sleeves. That's cool shit.
Yeah.
But in a movie, it's like, well, what do they like?
Yeah.
How do they fart?
That's the difference. That's the difference in that you're consuming the media, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of leads me to the question is like, can we do fighting game movies?
I think we can. It needs more heart.
You know?
And I think the Cole thing only works in what probably everyone was expecting, that he was going to be Scorpion,
baby.
Yeah. But he's just a generic dude with a family. Like,
yeah.
He's boring.
And listen, not that there's anything like that's fine, but I think also his like turnabout was not.
Well, yeah, his like hero's moment coming out is I got superpowers now.
Yeah,
you know,
he was such a his motivations were so all over the place. Where he was like
he completely like the dude's a quitter.
Yeah,
like he tapped out. He's like, fuck this shit, and then he only came back because he got his powers. He's like,
yeah,
and he acted like a cool guy when the portal was like, that's a portal home or something, like whatever he says. It's like, that's the like, dude, you ran out on the where was the redemption there? It was
your redemption is that
and no one was bitter that he cut like he quit on them. He left. He comes back and now he's giving orders. Like, what the hell is that transition? Yeah. It's like, it's really bad. None of it's earned.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird like the Cole where he goes through where he's like, I have to protect my family. Like, so we start out with Cole, and he's the guy. The promoter is like, hey, you're gonna lose this fight, and he's like, well, who else will do it for $200 and an hour's notice?
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, cool. I guess we'll figure that out. And then his daughter is like, I love you no matter what. I'm your ring man. And then it's like, okay, weird. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a cliche that's been established in fighting movies, but I think not many family and offspring glorify fighting and the toll it probably takes on the human body.
It's like, oh, I'm so glad my dad got his face kicked in for $200.
Like, I get, like, we're in the whole world and the whole movie is all about fighting. So obviously it's a celebration of that, I guess, to some extent. Yeah. But it was jarring to be like, oh, hey, how did the fight go, honey? And then the kid being there a part of this like violent thing. Yeah. It's definitely a weird
and the
contrast.
fact that he's not even like, because again, the way that they set his character up is that he's kind of like a wrestler where he's like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I gotta fight so that I can feed my family. Because it's like, if you had, like, I don't know, it just doesn't line up with
we don't see enough of a struggle too. Like, yeah, I'm taking these cheap fights. Like, there's no, like, you know, in Rocky, you see Rocky, then you see his apartment. He's a simple man. He's got a small little apartment. He has a pet turtle.
They go out for ice cream right after the fight.
Yeah, like you get to learn about him just being a blue collar dude in Pittsburgh or somewhere in Pennsylvania.
It's Philadelphia. Get the fuck out of here.
I probably upset
Christ.
any Pennsylvanians here, but but the point
I'm
is,
so mad at you. Hold on, I need a second. Pittsburgh, fucking Philadelphia. All right, go ahead. We're moving on. We got it.
The point is, we don't establish who Cole is besides that fight scene and
he
his
loses
loving family.
And he makes his money, whatever. And then he loses, and he's a good loser. And then Jax is like, hey, you used to be really good, and you got this mark. Wow, that's crazy. I got this mark. And then Sub-Zero comes, and then he runs away from that fight. He lets Jax just go into it, which is fine. Which is, I remember watching that part of the movie where Jax is like, get out of here if you want to save your family. And he's like, okay.
I mean, yeah, I just met you. I don't really give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I know. I think
if you're going to do...
Okay, yeah, I guess so. So then he fucks off, and then he's like, hey, wife, I gotta go follow up with this thing with this guy that I met who I haven't seen or I haven't heard from, and I gotta go follow up with it.
I gotta go to Gary, Indiana.
Yeah. And then they go there, and then he's like follows on this journey for this thing, and then
the trains and nothing happens,
and then he quits on it, and then it's fun. Like, I don't know, man. I guess that's his
And
arc.
then
where
in
he
the
quits
final
on it, and then he comes back.
Well, in the final fight, he fights Sub-Zero a little bit. Or no, he comes and he freezes his family. And during the fight, while Sub-Zero and Scorpion are fighting, you see Cole in the background punching his family's ice tomb so he can free them. And then he joins the fight with Scorpion, and they mostly get him pretty weak and defeated. And then And then Scorpion's like, I got it from here. And then Cole's like, all right, cool. And then he goes back to punching his family's like ice tomb. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, and then I don't know. It's so funny. It's just an interesting. I don't know. He's an interesting hero because he like vacillates wildly. Where it's like when he shows up, he's like, I'm fucking about this. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then like it's a little bit hard, and they're like, hey, maybe you gotta try harder. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
I gotta go home. I love my family. It's like, well,
it's like the most generic version of a family man. I have a family. I love them. I need to, like, it was just.
Yeah. When it feels like, I feel like he said earlier, he was like, hey, if I want to save my family, I gotta do this. Or like, I feel like he said that to somebody. I don't know.
Who knows?
I might be making that up.
This movie is like The Price is Right. It's all made up and none of it matters.
Well, that's what all movies are.
Yeah. But this movie especially.
But I think that's kind of going back to is like, are fighting movies better for making, like, what are your best video game movies?
I mean, I don't think there's ever been one done well, particularly. And they do exist. And, we got Nathan Drake coming out, Uncharted, with Tom Holland, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and completely forgot because I made a little list, but The Witcher. But again, that's like a video game. Because I was thinking about it's like, fighting games, they have all this hidden lore and like the cool stuff. Like Mortal Kombat, you just know like the fatalities and like the cool guy stuff.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily know about the different Earth realms because they're all just like, again, like you said, they're just tools so that you can fight as Scorpion and be a good guy in this one because he reclaimed his soul from the devil or what like that. Like there's a mission where he fights the devil or something. I don't know. I'm making it up.
I mean, I think this works for a movie setting. I don't think it'll ever make for a great movie. I think they need to own it. And I think like there was such like a good nostalgia around the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
That they could have tapped into. Like the movie felt kind of placeless, I guess. Like it didn't feel contemporary. I guess it feels contemporary, like any action movie, any Marvel movie.
Well, it feels like a movie from late to the 2000s. Like it doesn't feel like it caught up.
Yeah.
Like kind of in this, like it feels like there's like the good movies that make you think of like late 2000s, like Inception, where like where it's like, oh, that like sort of is that era.
I'm definitely picking that up from what you're saying.
And it's like. That's kind of how Godzilla vs. Kong was too.
Yeah.
But like with a little bit more of like, I don't know. But it doesn't feel of this era. It feels like they shot it with stuff that was from here, from a script that was written in 2009 that they updated a little bit.
Yeah.
But because just like the difference between like having an RPG game.
Well, The Witcher is just a literary thing. Like it's already like I think. The Witcher's a weird exception, and I think it works. Maybe it works better in episodic format. I don't know. And it's hard because how much of the Witcher TV show is derivative of the gaming's lore, which is just from the book.
It's from the book,
It's a book, And so I think that's an exception, or I think that's an exception rather than what's the expression? It's the exception to the rule, I guess.
Exception to the rule, yeah.
But like, there's the Tomb Raider movies. They're just, I don't know how they've aged. They were probably recently decently well received. There's a bunch of weird U-Bowl films. Like
he did a Far Cry that was like
that was a weird time. Those don't really count.
But there's also
I mean, there's a bunch of Halo movies that were made like straight to streaming or straight to VOD.
Oh, like animated movies.
Animated, but there's some live actions. They're okay.
Well, then there's also like, I guess the question is like, cause Red Dead Redemption or whatever, not that that's gonna be made into a movie, but it's like because everybody plays it so differently. Like there's only so many different ways to play a Mortal Kombat or something like that, where it's like. And then if you have something like Injustice where you're just you're like, I want to fight as Hawkeye for some reason. Again, Hawkeye, not a DC character, so that doesn't make sense in any sort of way.
Is it Green Arrow?
Green Arrow, yeah. So you want to fight as Green Arrow. It's like, oh, Green Arrow's got these fucking cool things I want to do. And that's like what you want to do or something.
Yeah.
But like, there's like, because I remember, the Warcraft movie. I was never a big World of Warcraft player.
Yep, that's one.
But that's one that I heard was it flopped. Obviously, I feel like because there was never another one.
Yeah.
But I heard that it was good.
It wasn't trash.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that it was like surprisingly good, and if people like. I don't know. I was interested in watching it after watching this because I was like, how does that play out? Because like
it looks fun. Like I mean, I've seen it, but like the looks of it, the CGI, the set, the opening bit is really good.
Don't ruin it for me.
No, it's just it's fine. It's like it's whatever. Make them. People enjoy them. Be true to the source material and understand why it's liked. I think that's the biggest issue of these video game movies is they're out there to make a quick buck on an established IP.
Yeah.
And the video game companies or whatever publishers buy in because like it could be exposure to a new audience to them come and play their game. It's like all win-win for everyone, right?
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is that it doesn't they rarely understand why they're loved or why they do well.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know. Like I think this isn't trying to find what makes Mortal Kombat special or the love. But I think it's there enough. Like it's trending in that direction. Like the fatality focus is great. I want more of that.
Yeah.
The weird setups of fights is good enough too.
Yeah.
It's there. I think this is a pretty good video game movie. I think it's a not great movie though.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. But to me it works. I think I can appreciate it again because I played 2 full campaigns and whatever.
I think that for like video game movies, and something that, because isn't The Witcher essentially playing out the lore of The Witcher? Like it doesn't like connect up directly to like The Witcher 3 or any of the stuff.
I don't know too much about it.
Okay.
I watched the TV show and I barely played the games.
I played a little bit of Witcher 3, but not enough. It was like it was like in the pandemic, and I had played Red Dead Redemption all the way through.
Yep.
And I was like, oh man, this is so fucking good. And people were like, hey, Witcher 3 is also really good.
Yeah, different kind of really good.
And I was like, and I just wanted to play Red Dead Redemption again, really, but like with swords or something.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, maybe.
I don't know. It was like right after playing Red Dead, so I was like, I'm gonna play The Witcher, and it wasn't exactly like it, so I never gave it the fair shake, which is, to my own fault. But it's like I don't play video games enough.
One day I will play The Witcher. The pandemic was a great time to do that. I mean, I did play Cyberpunk. I got like 60 hours into that. That's a whole other thing, though. Is the length of video game value?
Yeah.
Is it worth it, or is it nice to have like a 10-hour campaign?
Like the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Where it's like that's
for me,
kind
that
of
was like 15 to 20.
Yeah, but still, like that's like different than how many hours could you put into fucking Red Dead?
I mean,
like
you could probably beat it in 40 to 50, but it could easily also take you 80 to 100 hours.
Yeah. But you could also like that could be something that you could play. You could play in real time, essentially.
Yeah.
And like you're like, I'm gonna do a mission a day and then just fuck around for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And like I would be like that would still probably be satisfying. But what I was kind of like with like video game properties in movies, I feel like you need to touch on stuff that you don't do in the game. So it's like something like this would have been cool.
What's all the time in between the fun shooty stuff? Or how do you pace out? Because like in a video game, you're shooting stuff, you're fighting stuff
Yeah.
a lot of the time. So how do you fill in the rest of that time?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because it's like with this, it's like wouldn't have been, because you could even then do it the same way, but like wouldn't have been cool to see the first tournament and like see like Scorpion's origin or whatever.
Even
we
as
sort
a-
of did, but it's
Yeah.
like if we focus more on that, like what if we stayed in feudal Japan for more of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure that wouldn't that would be a hard pitch, but I'm saying it's like let's see more. Like if you're gonna try and do, basically, I think it's a mistake to try and recreate the video game, especially like a fighting style video game. It's a mistake to try and recreate it in a movie form, because it's like I don't get to fight. I don't get to do the thing.
Yeah. I mean, they get enough fights in there, but I think the issue is that I blanked out.
It's okay, bud. I love it. What are your favorite video game movies?
I don't really have any. They don't stick out to me.
Detective Pikachu technically has one.
Oh, I mean, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Not a great movie, but a great video game movie. What else is there?
There's Mortal Kombat, 1995, obviously, which I feel like is pretty good. Maybe it's just for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
I never watched those. They seemed like so different from the games.
Well, see, maybe.
But I think they trailblazed their own sense of the world and stuff, and it clearly worked.
I don't know.
Because
See, I watched the movies. I never played the games.
yeah, the games are cool. Actually, I've played most of those games. I don't know how it's happened. I'm not like a fan, and it wasn't like
Because you're not really a
work.
horror dude. You're like you.
No, but I played tons of it. What I was gonna say that I forgot
Oh, okay.
was the whole tournament thing just shouldn't have been
A part of
something. Yeah, like they could have still just been like, yeah, this guy wants to assassinate the Earth champions because he doesn't want them to fight the tournament.
it. Yeah.
But let's just focus on he wants to assassinate them, and then maybe learn why. Oh, there's this big tournament, and that's the second movie. Maybe that's the lead-in. But the fact that what he's doing is too prominent, it's just like, I don't know. Think of someone coming in this at nothing or having only seen the first movie. Like, why? This tournament's a big deal, right? Why? Where are we going? What are we doing? Why aren't we watching the tournament? Like, if this is a movie about fighting, then why isn't there a tournament? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's it. They talk about this tournament and then they never get to it.
Yeah.
They just never get to it.
Which is clearly cinematic universe bait.
Yeah. Well, this is so, and that also too, kind of talking about the production is like the production design and stuff. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. I always felt like misplaced or out of place in this. We're in their like little sandstone temple now, and for a lot of the movie is shot in these like close-ups, and like the depth of field is so weird where it's like we don't see the rest of this world, and like we go and we see Jax now, and we've got other people in here, but when we're like in the rest of the temple, it's just Liu Kang.
Yeah.
It's just Liu Kang walking around. There's nobody there. It looks like rubble. It doesn't look like an active place. It looks like they're trying to hide the background in a lot of the shots.
Well, that's the thing is if this is the first one establishing your cinematic universe, or this is a standalone movie, establish the fucking world. There's no
Yeah.
excuse either way, and the movie doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And Liu Kang's a pretty big deal, I think.
He's supposed to be the main guy,
yeah.
And they wanted it to be Cole Young so that it could be an American guy instead of Liu Kang. I always liked Liu Kang.
Yeah.
There's also the Lara Croft movies that you talked on. You
Yep.
touched on. Doom is one that's like
The Rock and Carl Urban.
yeah. It's like not good movie, but also it's
I
like
watched it a
kinda
long
good.
time ago.
They have that first person sequence that's like a one
pretty
shot
cool.
that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of that sort of stuff that it's so fun to watch some of these movies that aren't necessarily the best, and like to find
The good.
like in Doom where it's like, oh, that fucking one shot sequence is cool as shit, and it's like hidden in there.
yeah.
And there's like multiple other places where it's like, oh, this is a fucking interesting little scene. How did this get in there? or
The movie's
whatever.
so goofy because it feels like it's just shot on the same set of Space Station hallways.
Yeah.
So just It's the maximum usage of just the same wall shot different ways.
Yeah.
Which cheapened it to me. Even I noticed that as watching it in 2008 or whatever as a kid. I was like, this is cheap.
This is the same thing, huh?
Yeah.
The Angry Birds is technically a video game movie.
I have seen that.
I think it's not that terrible. It's not great.
I mean, if you
it's
got
a kid's movie.
Yeah, if a kid, it'll do the job for a kid.
The first Pokemon movie I think is really good.
Yeah, but I mean,
but also I think that's
it's hard to like.
That's a lot of this
because that was in such conjunction with the games and the trading cards.
It was with Burger King, dude. It was with Burger King because I remember that movie came out.
All the toys,
all the toys, and like the fucking the big Pokemon ball with with the gold Pokemon card in the middle of it.
Yeah,
you remember that?
I think so. It's kind of flashing back. I just remember the Mewtwo was the coveted one. I had all of them, and the Mewtwo I wanted. I remember I was at Burger King with a couple friends and some another kid.
How dare you?
He got a Mewtwo. I'm like, oh fuck. And we're like, okay guys, let's like pool all our shitty. We had like the Rattata and the snake toy. And we're like, hey man, do you want to trade?
Yeah.
We were offended that he didn't want to trade his
Yeah.
Mewtwo to us for 3 shitty ones. When in all actuality, he was the one that should have been.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Kids are so stupid.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And then I think too, this was really, deflating to have them, to have the bad guys show up almost immediately as the good guys are there.
So we're back to the movie, not Pokemon.
Yeah, not Pokemon. I'm talking. It's like.
Yeah, so that sequence was really jarring to me. So we just everyone meets Raiden, and they're talking, and all of a sudden we're with Liu Kang, and he gets jumped by Sub-Zero. I'm like, is this like a dream sequence?
Yeah.
Because it's such a hard cut. It's so bizarre. And then all the bads show up. I'm like, what the hell's happening? And then it's such a stupid setup for then the rest of the movie, and then they put up a force field, and they're all just like chilling at the other side of this wall. It's stupid.
Well, because this is essentially like the beginning of our first act. Or this is the end of our first act.
Yeah.
You know? And what does it come? How long have we been talking? You know, fucking 50 minutes, 40 minutes, 20 minutes?
I mean...
here, everybody who's listening.
At least 45 minutes.
45 minutes is the end of our fucking first act. And...
Kano's so good.
Well, and that's like, it's like, he's a fun character. You know? And they did, like, you know, like, let's say this movie has little beauties of things.
The movie has 15 characters. Vaguely. Yeah. One of them is fun. Cabal's pretty fun.
Cabal's pretty fun. Yeah. But he's also connected to
Kano.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of if there's anybody else.
Melina has tons of potential.
Melina, that's who that is. Not Katana.
She has tons of potential to be cool, and I like the way that when she opens her mouth big and wide, it rips her cheeks apart. Yeah. So it's not something she does all the time. Like, that's cool. You know, I want, like, maybe we see her fuck up some drones or weak people, like, you know. Like, that's what it is.
I
want to see her tear some shit up. But you don't, because she's fighting a main character, and we're not going to see them get fucked up.
I think maybe that's part of it too, is that there's no drones to die. There's nobody who's expendable, like on the good side or the bad side.
Yeah.
Like there's no goopies, or what are they called in Power Rangers?
Red shirts?
Red shirts also works.
Star Trek?
Red shirts also works, but I'm trying to think of like, what are they called in Power Rangers?
I don't know. Goopies?
That's what I said. That's
Guppies?
Not right. It might be gummies or gumpies or something like that.
But yeah, I like there's some.
That's the sound
turkeys. But there's definitely some carnage you want to see wrecked, and yeah, maybe then it makes it more earned and exciting when a main character doesn't have a main character.
The fucking opening fight sequence where like Scorpion's going ham. Where first Sub-Zero's going ham on Scorpion's like people.
Yeah.
And then Scorpion is going ham on Sub-Zero's people.
That's the only time we really see that though.
And then they go after each other, and that's the best fight. This is what I'm gonna tell you right now. You could turn this movie off after it says Mortal Kombat,
and you're good.
Yeah, you've seen the best parts of this movie.
Yeah,
everything else is like contrived. Like the last little fight sequence gave me a headache because there's jumping around all over the place, and like You never got the chance to have like fight continuity essentially.
Yeah.
Like, because that's one of the things that's really fun, or that I remember being really fun about the first Mortal Kombat. Again, like I said, where it's like essentially you just go from fight to fight to fight to fight.
Yeah.
But in doing that, you get to have emotional stakes within this fight, and you see it as it develops all the way through.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I remember there was one point during the big fight, the first kind of fight sequence with a bunch of people where they're cutting. There was like a good minute or two where you don't have the Melina Sonya Blade fight.
Yeah.
And it goes back and like, oh yeah, they're fighting. How's this going? It just felt too much like, okay, we're checking on them now. All right. And now we're going to go check on these guys.
Oh, things aren't going well.
Yeah.
Things are going good.
It was a severely limiting thing. And I think the jumping also to Jax, his struggle with his arms didn't feel good enough.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy thing to play up, such an easy conflict of him handling that severe handicap of
I don't have arms anymore.
Yeah. And he's in a fighting movie, so he clearly needs those, to be fighting.
The character himself is aware. He's like, I'm in a fighting movie. How am I supposed to fight?
Yeah, he pretty much is.
I
don't know. There's a lot of weird things in this movie.
Is this movie fun? I think that's the thing at the end of the day.
It's a movie I'll watch once, and then it's a movie if I'm doing something that I want to be focused on something else, but I do want something in the background that I don't want to pay attention to. This movie may be a good candidate.
Would you... All right, here's another... If this movie... This feels like a hotel movie, where it's like, if it's on, and you just got done off a road, like you just got done driving for 6 hours or whatever.
Yeah, you'll pop it on and watch
you're like,
it mindlessly.
Hey, it's there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to search it out. Like, if I have access to the internet and can, like, have other options and, like, to have my choice of things to choose from, I'll choose those.
You know what you do is when you ever get any inkling of an itch, if this does occur to you, you watch on YouTube the clips of the cool scenes of the fights, of the fatalities, the compilations, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Or you can watch the first 5 to 10 minutes, or you wait till someone to supercut the Scorpion Sub-Zero plotline.
Yeah.
And make something out of that.
Yeah. It's very... It just feels very blah. I don't know. I don't have any... I don't have like... It just... The fight scenes aren't cool. Like, there's so many cuts within them. So I think that's what it is. It feels cheap because there's so many cuts within the fight scenes.
Yeah.
That it's like it undercuts the challenge of them, but that was, I love that little reference where it's like you're just gonna do that same
great
move.
sequence.
I love that
with the Kung Lao?
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang,
Kung Lao.
Yeah, with Liu Kang doing the foot sweeping thing. That was, I think, one of the best video game references. Not only because it's a reference of player behavior, rather than something in the game, and it was done so well. And that was such a good set piece of the hard-headed Kano being a stubborn asshole, and Liu Kang being a smartass.
Yeah, but it's also
being a smartass through his martial art. It was definitely, that stuck out to me as an extremely good video game reference.
But it's also not like that shouldn't make you have to sit through the fucking 50 minutes of it.
No,
to
get to that.
To get to that.
No,
watch the first 11 minutes and then watch the supercut, because I think that the first 11 minutes, or as soon as it gets to the opening title, it's like, okay, yeah, if this movie carries on this way, that'd be cool. But it didn't.
Yeah, I saw one review.
I'm telling you right now, it didn't.
One reviewer said this movie should have been about Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
That's what everybody wants to see anyway.
Yeah.
God,
it was such a waste opportunity to not make Cole just Scorpion.
Just make him Scorpion, bro.
Like, I'm not a big fan, but that would have been a fucking sick, like, hell yeah.
Yeah, or have it be like some sort of twisted Scorpion, or some, like, whatever the good version of Scorpion is.
Or maybe it's like Venom and Eddie.
Venom and Carnage.
No, but like that relationship, like the inner conflict.
Oh, gotcha.
What's like Eddie something?
Eddie Brock? That feels right.
Yeah, that seems right.
But something else too that was really funny is like this movie, like outside of the fatalities and stuff, it also did like a whole hell of a lot to be like, hey, this is an R-rated movie. Here's a fuck. Hey, it's been a long time. Get your fucking ass in gear. Don't fucking lie to me. You wanna do this. And it's just like, there were just like so many times where I think in the opening scene where he's like, the guy's like, hey, you're gonna get your fucking face pounded in tonight. And it's like, his daughter's right there.
It felt like a rated R movie that 13-year-olds can watch and feel sick, like,
yeah,
and parents will feel okay about it, because there's not that there needs to be nudity, but like if they just wanted to not give a fuck, or and
but there's fucks in it.
If they don't want to give a fuck and make it rated R, then they would put, I guess, nudity or just more grotesque stuff.
Yeah,
not that nudity is grotesque, nudity and grotesque stuff. In addition to the swears
some
and the violence,
nudity is grotesque. Jason Segel, I'm not talking about you.
Not that the movie needed it. I'm not like, but it's just it felt to support to that it was just thrown in there.
Yeah, like and again, I'm not against cursing.
I
curse
could be,
clearly
because I could be okay if I had a child upwards to 10 or 12 watching this.
Yeah,
because the violence they're seeing in games anyways, I'm not going to police what they play too much.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's nothing here that's crazy besides some swears and the cartoon violence.
Yeah.
So, I think.
And the kid feels cool for watching it. Like, hey, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, it's like sick. On the playground, it's like, I've watched two R-rated movies.
I did it.
James Bond and Mortal Kombat. And then someone's like, actually, James Bond isn't rated R.
Shut up, Todd.
That happened to me once.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, some kid made me feel like a wimp for not seeing rated R movies. And I was like, but I've seen James Bond. He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then he's like, no, wait a minute. And then he tore me apart more. And
oh, my gosh.
I got really sad that I hadn't seen rated R movies.
See, I had a similar
So I'm going to let my kid watch all the rated R movies. So when he's on the playground, or he or she, they don't get picked on like I did. If I was Christian, I would name drop the bully. He doesn't care.
I just won't let my kids watch any movies.
Yeah.
I just like, no, read a book.
Yeah.
There's plenty of porn in books.
Jesus.
But don't read any of those books yet.
Was it Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct?
Yeah.
That was like the internet for kids.
Yeah.
Porn.
That movie's good though.
I never watched it, but I mean, there's so many kids in my grade that talked about, I got the VHS. I know right where to like slow it down.
Oh, sweet.
I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet, dude.
But that'll be your kid, but with books. They know that they have all the pages earmarked.
They all the Nicholas Sparks books.
Yeah.
No, my kid won't I won't let them read Nicholas Sparks.
I won't let them read.
I won't let them read either.
You can
exist.
You can read hieroglyphs.
You can write you know what? Here's the thing.
You can read tablets, like stone tablets are cool.
Yeah.
Carvings, wood carvings, and runes are okay.
You can practice magic too.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yep.
Basically, you can be a witch or a wizard, but you can't read any narrative books. Only books about magic.
Yep. Speaking of wizards and swearing.
Okay. Where's this?
Sucks Christian isn't here, but the just putting in unnecessary swears in Harry Potter and like good quotes.
Yeah.
Like, you're a fucking wizard, Harry. A fucking good one. Just another good one too. Or I don't know.
What is it? What's the Snape one? Always. Fucking always.
Yeah, just like it's like just funny to go back in Harry Potter.
Still after all this time. Fucking always.
Yeah.
Fucking always, Dumby. Yeah, man, you always know. Hey, I'm always on some Lily Potter stuff, man. so it's never Snape by Matthew McConaughey. Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Hey, Potter. Hey, don't! How dare you use my own spells against me, Harry Potter? I'm the Half-Blood Prince.
Harry Potter, but Matthew McConaughey plays everyone. So stupid.
Hey, Harry, man. Hey, you got something that Lord Voldemort never had, dude. It's love. That's love right there.
He's driving a Cadillac or whatever.
He's a Lincoln. It's got to be a Lincoln.
Instead of Quidditch, it's just Lincoln.
Yeah, man.
Lincoln's driving.
Hey, you recognize this place? Oh, it's London Cross Station, man. King's Cross Station. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just thinking about Hey, 150 points to Gryffindor. All right,
150 fucking points.
Hey, everybody else played by the rules all year. Hey, but fuck them, dude. I love me a Rebel Yell.
Neville. What a.
And 5 points for Neville Longbottom for just being there, man. I'm just so proud of him. I'm just so proud of you. Hey, Neville, come on up here, bud. Hey, Neville, get up here. I want to give you a pumpkin pasty right here myself. Oh, you don't want? Hey, eat the pumpkin pasty,
Gives
Neville.
him a set of car keys.
Hey, take this Lincoln, too. Find your animal.
Go Longhorns.
Go Longhorns. Anyway, guys, I got to get back to Sarah Jessica Parker. My failure to launch has been launched.
Jesus.
What have you been watching these days?
Not much, honestly. I watched the first Harry Potter.
Okay.
I'm listening to the 5th book, and I've watched the 1st through 4th book. Movie. But Christian put it on at the hotel room after he went to the Harry Potter world.
Hell yeah. So
I watched a little bit of that. But I don't think much. Because, I lived the movies. I went to Disney World, and I went to Universal.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Batu and at the Black Spire Outpost. I went to Hogsmeade. I went to Diagon Alley. And then I want to see him get morphed into a wall where he's Harry gets teleported into a wall and he's like, kill me. I don't know. I went a bunch of other places. Marvel Land.
There's a Marvel Land? What's that like?
And Universal, so it's super cardboard cutout, comic book Marvel.
Oh, cool.
It predated the Disney acquisition.
Huh.
Toy Story Land. I walked around in Andy's backyard.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
And
How was it? You go to the parks a bunch.
Yeah, it was
Not
good.
a bunch.
We went right before they lifted all the restrictions, so we got to go in that perfect area where everything is super tight and taken care of and clean, and social distancing is bigger. And next week they were getting rid of all that and increasing capacities and stuff. So we got in at the last possible moment.
Yeah.
And we were both vaccinated, so
it's still though even with being vaccinated, I'm still wearing masks because it's
oh, you have to.
Yeah.
But
no, I know, but it's because I like I said I went to the movies and it's even while I was in the movies it was I had everyone I took it down and then every once in a while I don't know.
Is it mandatory? I think it's gotta be.
You know, once you sit down, you can take. But that's kind of one of the things.
Well, that's the thing is it's supposed to be really dangerous indoors.
Yeah.
Which is why
we went to
theaters-
a restaurant, and that's the funniest thing to me about you go to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, and you wear a mask up until you sit down, and then you take your mask off, and everybody else takes their mask off, and it's like.
Well, I think
okay.
the dangerous part of that is half the time you're touching your mask.
Yeah.
Which has all the contaminants on it.
So I get that sweet old hand sanitizer, baby.
Yeah, so you have to do that. Wash your hands, but it's a tough battle to fight.
I feel like they wasted Goro too. I know that we've transitioned into transitioning.
Oh yeah, he just shows up out of nowhere.
He shows up out of nowhere.
I feel
and
there's
no
a scene or two
build-up.
missing.
And if there is a build up to it, it's
he's Goro is such a cool character. Let's use him. He's got to be used. He's important, whatever. And so they just have him show up, and they justify his existence because he gives Cole the awakening of his Arcana.
Yeah.
And
but then he dies.
Yeah, so it's such a waste, and he doesn't even die that brutally.
No.
I think it's a stabbing to the eye or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
What are you watching? Jumping back.
I watched. Went back and I watched The Girl with the Pearl Earring, which is a book that I read. Scarlett Johansson, Colin Firth vehicle from 2004. I want to say.
Oh.
It's really good. I love process stuff like that because he's a painter. It's about Vermeer.
Oh yeah. They said processed stuff, as in.
Well, yeah.
Processed food.
Yeah. And then I watched a movie called Shiva, excuse me. It's essentially takes place all over the course of this one Shiva for this lady, and things kind of devolve, and it's a fun movie. It's kind of like 4 Weddings and a Funeral, where it's or Death at a Funeral, like the original.
I haven't seen any of those.
The original Death at a Funeral, the British version is so fucking funny. I mean, the American remake is pretty funny too, but it's got that fast-paced British humor.
Yeah.
But it's like the upstate New York, or not upstate, but like city New York Jewish humor where it's like everybody knows everybody, everything is going real fast, and it's like and it just like that has that pitter patter that's just like I'm so intense.
Hits the right bones for you.
Yeah. And then I watched Promising Young Woman as well.
How was that?
It was. I mean, it's a good movie. It's hard to like. I don't know. I think it did its job because it left me feeling empty inside.
It could just be a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. It made me sad, but it also like. I don't know, I don't know if it was as well written. Again, not as a fucking screenwriter, like a professional. Nobody's paying me to write screenplays, but it's just like some of the way that some stuff was like, okay, and not even like any of the material, but just like the setup, and then like it had like all like really cool production design, but also didn't. I don't know.
Well, it was made really quickly, so maybe that's something what you're picking up too.
It's possible.
I think it was shot over 20 days, and like
wow.
she was like 8 months pregnant while she directed it, and I think it was written on the side while she was acting on another show.
Oh wow. Huh.
About 85% sure on that stuff.
Okay.
That was all from the Oscars, picked up here and there.
Wow.
So what you're saying sounds like it fits that mold.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like some of the stuff, like again, some of the stuff was really cool and like set up real nice, and like the overall message of it and like the sort of the stuff was like, oh shit. Again, it made me feel empty inside, and like just awful.
That's what you want to feel in a movie.
Well, I mean, it does its job.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, hey,
I want to end up watching all the Oscar nominees.
not everybody's good.
I just need to get there.
And nobody can be good all the way.
I like how he was hiding in Goro's hiding inside his shed or something. Anyways, what I gave this movie 2.5 tournaments that never happened out of 5, I guess.
I'm gonna give it 2 unfinished fights.
Yep.
Out of 5.
Two sad fights.
2 sad fights. Two useless character deaths. But yeah, I mean, I guess hit us up at Stinky Popcorn. Sorry, we're maybe a little bit tired.
It's one of those weeks.
It's one of those weeks. We hope that you guys can all appreciate that. Tell us how you're tired. Hit us up at Stinky Podcast and let us know what you thought of this movie. What your favorite video game movie is. Tell us what we should do next. Tell us why you disagree with us about this Mortal Kombat.
Are hot dogs a sandwich?
Are hot dogs a sandwich?
Is hot dog a sandwich?
Is hamburger salad?
Ooh.
Hey. Is hamburger pasta? It's just bread and meat. Is hamburger spaghetti with meat sauce? But
Could
like
be.
American. It's just bread and meat and red and tomato. But
bread and meat and red.
Bread and meat and red.
Bread, meat and red.
Bread, meat and red, baby.
It could be a restaurant.
As they say in Earthrealm, bread, meat and red, baby.
Bye.